If you like audiobooks or audio shows, check out a free trial of Audible. Just click the link in the description.
Welcome to MINDSHOCK. This is your host, Bruce McGuire.
And Jack.
And we are doing perhaps the most important podcast in the history of MINDSHOCK. We are going to attempt to decipher one of the greatest enigmas of our time. That is the man, the myth, the legend, David Hasselhoff. We've touched upon this pillar of various multimedia franchises. I mean, this guy's an award-winning platinum record singer, recording artist, actor. I mean, the amount of records this man has broken would probably take several hours to just go over. And the fact that he's still being talked about today, I mean, that's just nothing short of mind-shocking. And we will attempt to figure out how this man keeps his schedule, because that's something that I've not been able to figure out between the various TV shows, the recording studio. I mean, it's just the movies. It's just never ending with the Hoff. So I have none other than JR here. We're going to put, perhaps there's some kind of top secret government agency overlap with David Hasselhoff. Maybe he was engineered by MK Ultra to just be the foremost entertainer of all time, and he was just endless energy and ability, like unlike any other performer today. I mean, his output is just unrivaled. I have not seen anybody other than maybe Jackie Chan who could rival the output. But even Jackie Chan didn't even really do TV series. He kind of did movies, so once one movie was a wrap, he can move to another, not spend like 11 seasons on a single show and moving from show to show while also doing the recording. Although a lot of people don't know, Jackie Chan himself is an award-winning singer, and he's got a bunch of albums as well. So, yeah, it's very curious. We definitely need JR's input in figuring this all out. And as always, if you enjoy the podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. Make sure you allow your device to have those notifications come through. You could also like and share this epic podcast across social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Patreon. Patrons do get priority for case topic, logical analysis, co-podcast to request. You could also be a guest on the podcast, depending on your tier. Questions, comments, theories, thoughts, suggestions, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind, leave them in the comment section. All right, so just right off the bat, JR, do you have any explanation for how this man was able to sustain this level of output through the 80s and 90s and even the 2000s?
Well, Bruce, the only thing I can think of is, like, this guy is on, like, probably, like, one of, like, the highest powered, like, steroids that exist, like, known to mankind. The only other time I've ever seen him falter was that one time where he was, like, singing into the microphone, like, while eating, like, a sandwich while, like, drunk. So I don't even think he was standing. Wasn't he, like, just laying on the stage? Like, so.
Yeah, well, okay. So let's go through his entire story. Do you believe that there are youngins around today who don't even know who the Hoff is?
Well, my kids barely struggle to know who I am, so I would probably say yes.
All right, well, let me do the quick breakdown for people who don't know. David Michael Hasselhoff, born July 17th, 1952, nicknamed The Hoff, is an American actor, singer, producer, television personality, and businessman. He has set a Guinness World Record as the most watched man on TV. Hoff first gained recognition on The Young and the Restless, playing the role of Dr. Snapper Foster. Wow, what a name. See, I'm actually not that familiar with The Young and the Restless. Do you have any comments on The Young and the Restless for people who have not watched the show?
Yeah, of course, Bruce. Normally, especially like during the downtime in the military, it's actually like one of those things that like people actually watch. Yeah, The Young and the Restless is just like basically this like trashy cereal that I think was financed by Campbell Soup Company. Well, no, actually, that's all my children. I'm actually not sure who The Young and the Restless was sponsored by, but it was some sort of Procter and Gamble, type product. I'm not exactly sure which one. Think about that. It might have been Dove soap. But yeah, no pun intended. Yeah, I don't really know. All I know is, when it comes to soaps, have you ever, noticed their names? Foster, Donovan, what's a good one? Carter. They always have, these strange,
I've never heard the name Snapper before. The Hoff played Dr. Snapper Foster. I mean,
well, that was, an
yeah.
attempt to make it, less Anglo-Saxon.
Okay, so regarding soap operas in general, do you believe soap operas are some kind of MK Ultra type psyop?
Well, considering that they just have, this, random, shameless product placement, it wouldn't be surprising.
Can you elaborate further for those that are not familiar with your clandestine operations background in the government?
Well, let's just put it this way. I mean, you're sitting there, you're folding laundry, you're watching the television. Suddenly, Sally's, tethered to a bed because she's gone mental, and, she has to go to the mental hospital, and then there's, this doctor with, this steamy nurse sequence, and then, the nurse cuts to, putting Tide Pods into, a washing machine to, wash, the sheets for the patients. So, I mean,
Yeah, why do
yeah,
you think why do you think that most soaps always go with the cliche coma, they don't know if they're going to wake up from the coma? I mean, isn't that like every soap?
I don't know, maybe they'd have this month to month contract negotiation. I have no idea. That's
But it
actually a good
seems like
point.
they always go for the coma. I mean, I don't watch a lot of soaps. It's just I've had family members who used to watch soaps when I was little. And whenever I would wander in or out of the room, there'd always be someone in a coma.
Well, there is that one. I forget which one it was, but it's the evil Stefano is constantly brainwashing people. I don't think that's the Young and the Restless though.
All
But
right. Well,
yeah,
either way, let's continue here with the Hoff's career. His career continued with his leading role as Michael Knight on Knight Rider, 1982 through 1986, and as LA County lifeguard Mitch Buchanan in Baywatch, 1989 to 2000. He also produced Baywatch from the 90s until 2001 when the series ended with Baywatch Hawaii. Hasselhoff has also appeared in films including Dodgeball 2004, The SpongeBob SquarePants Movie 2004, Click 2006, and Hop 2011. I actually don't believe I've seen Hop. Have you seen Hop?
yeah, I saw Hop with my kids. It's actually really funny.
Okay. Before
It's about
Sam
the kid of the Easter Bunny. You should watch it.
I might have to check that out. Before Samuel L. Jackson, Hasselhoff was the first actor to portray the Marvel Comics character Nick Fury in the telefilm Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., 1998. And that's quite an underrated piece of celluloid, if I might say so myself. What did you make of the Hoff as Nick Fury?
I can't say I've ever really seen that, Bruce.
Wow, people might think you're lying, JR.
I swear, I'm telling the truth.
All right. Well, this man knows no limits. In 2000, he made his Broadway debut in the musical Jekyll and Hyde. Following his debut,
Was that the one where he did the time travel, or was it just a movie?
he starred in other musicals, including Chicago and The Producers. Man, this man's career is as storied as you can get. I mean, what's the only thing missing? I mean, did he not win an Oscar? Is that really the only thing that's missing from his resume?
Um, I mean, I don't really remember him ever winning any. Well, you did say that he had Emmys, but yeah, no, I don't think he's ever won a. Well, has he ever won a Grammy?
All right, let's get to that. In 1989, Hasselhoff released the studio album Looking for Freedom, which went triple platinum in Europe. And its lead single went to #1 in Germany and Switzerland. Hasselhoff has also worked as a talent show judge on television shows such as America's Got Talent and Britain's Got Talent. So let's go through his entire life here. So Hasselhoff was born in Baltimore, Maryland.
How they never talk about like South Africa's Got Talent or like Eastern Russia's Got Talent or like Israel's Got Talent. It's always either like the Americas or what about Mexico's Got Talent or Canada's Got Talent or Greenland's Got Talent?
Some people would say there's no talent in Canada.
I asked the Canadian watchers to comment below.
All right, so let's go through Hoff's early life. For those that don't know, I'm sure you know all these details, but some of them our listeners might not. Hasselhoff was born in Baltimore, Maryland, the son of Dolores Teresa, a homemaker, and Joseph Vincent Hasselhoff, a business exec. His family is Roman Catholic with German, English, and Irish descent. His great-great-grandmother, Maida, immigrated with her family to Baltimore from Walkerson, Germany in 1865. He spent his childhood in Jacksonville, Florida, and later lived in Atlanta, Georgia, where he attended Marist School. Marist School or Marist School? It's a private Catholic school in Brookhaven, Georgia. Hasselhoff made his theatrical debut at the age of 7 in Peter Pan, and ever since his childhood dream was to have a career on Broadway. And that was just like, it's just funny how he had to do the Baywatch detour to get to Broadway. But he graduated from...
Who did he play in Peter Pan? He must have played Michael, because I can't really think of him playing any other... Unless he was Peter Pan. Well, he could have been...
He could have been Peter Pan. It doesn't say.
He could have been John, too. Yeah.
He graduated from Lyons Township High School in LaGrange, Illinois. I mean, this guy's been all over. In 1970, he was a member. Look at this man's talent. Let's examine what he did in high school. He was a member of the speech team, senior discussion leaders, president of the choir, captain of the volleyball team, and held roles in several plays, including one lead role as Matt in The Fantastics. He studied at Oakland University before graduating with a degree in theater at the California Institute of the Arts. I mean, this was one talented man, wouldn't you say?
Oh boy, yep.
Early career, Hasselhoff portrayed Dr. Snapper Foster on The Young and the Restless from 1975 to 1982, leaving the series as the show wrote out many of their original characters. His feature debut was in 1974 as Boner in Revenge of the Cheerleaders, which he did to get accredited into the Screen Actors Guild. I mean, isn't this the start of any epic career? At the time, he believed that the film would not be released, but it was 2 years later, also appearing under the title Caught with Their Pants Down. Have you seen Revenge of the Cheerleaders?
No, why is he so highly regarded in Germany when he's like more American than most Americans?
That's what we're getting to. So here, check out this breakdown of Revenge of the Cheerleaders. Aloha High cheerleaders who wield considerable power in their ineptly run school struggle against real estate developers aiming to merge their school with a rival one in order to turn the location into a shopping mall. I mean, do you see this kind of brilliance in films today, JR?
I'm surprised this guy didn't fucking go to Juilliard. I mean, like, really, it was something like that. And then he went off to, like, platinum, Baywatch. I mean, and why hasn't he won an Oscar? I mean, he should be running fucking California.
I mean those are valid questions, JR, and we'll get to them. In 1979, he played Simon in Star Crash. He launched his singing career with guest appearances on the first season of the children's program Kids Incorporated, performing Do You Love Me? He guest starred on 2 episodes of Different Strokes and the soap opera Santa Barbara as himself in 1984. So at the basically close to the beginning of his career, he's already guest starring on soap operas as himself. I mean, can you think of anybody else that has done that except maybe Hulk Hogan?
The only person I can think of would be somebody like Ron Howard, or like, another. But now, like, honestly, yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, kind of impressive. I mean, what, like, age group is this soap, like, aimed at? I mean, yeah.
Santa Barbara?
I've vaguely have heard of that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at the breakdown here. It was 9 seasons, 2,137 episodes. Santa Barbara was an American television soap aired on NBC from July 30th, 1984 to January 15th, 1993. The show revolves around the eventful lives of the wealthy Capwell family of Santa Barbara, California. Other prominent families featured on the soap were the rival Lockridge family and the more modest Andrade and Perkins families. Interesting. I'm surprised that wasn't your favorite show.
Yeah, no, I can't say. Like, I like really like passed one over there.
Yeah. All right, let's continue here with your favorite, possibly your favorite show of all time, Knight Rider.
Yeah,
Hassel-
yeah, 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 yeah. First of all, Thunder will always outdo Knight Rider. Second of all, the car, and I'm going to get a lot of flack from the viewers here, gets on my nerves.
Really? You're not a fan of Kit?
I'm not a big kid person. No.
All right, Knight
Although
Rider.
I will say that like it had an interesting like accent, and I also like the fact that if you look at like up to this point, a lot of his roles like he used his like actual like middle name of Michael. Like that's also that's really world class too.
That is pretty funny. Hasselhoff was recruited by the NBC president, Brandon Tartikoff, to star in the sci-fi series Knight Rider from 82 to 86 as Michael Knight. He described Knight Rider as more than a TV show. Quote, "It's a phenomenon. It's bigger than Baywatch ever was," end quote, on the success of Knight Rider. It's because it was about saving lives, not taking lives, and it was how one man really can make a difference. Isn't that interesting where you're describing something that happened before something else, and it's bigger than the something that came after ever would?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Also,
Well, isn't it curious how the NBC see, I actually didn't know this detail. The president of NBC went out of his way to personally recruit David Hasselhoff himself in 1982. I mean, this is still close to the beginning of the Hoff's career. Like, who can say after only a couple years, you have the president of TV networks personally recruiting you?
yeah, but like I kind of feel like that statement is a little jaded too. I mean, it wasn't just Michael in Knight Rider. I mean, didn't it like the car like was like his like sidekick? I mean, he saved lives too.
Some people would say the Hoff was Kit's sidekick.
I agree with them. I mean, when you think about it, Kit did all the heavy lifting. Like,
That's a good point. All right, it's continuing on here. He described
and like Kit is always he was always telling Michael like what was going on. If you ever noticed that, like Michael just kind of showed up to locations. Like the car not only told him what the mission was, but then told him like what was going on with the mission, and then normally saves his ass like in the end, like to complete the mission.
Yeah, those are all very valid points, JR. All right, let's see what the Hoff says about Knight Rider. He described the acting he has done, quote, "a little more difficult than if you had a regularly well-written script. Like if I was going to be in, say, Reservoir Dogs or The Godfather or Dances with Wolves or Lawrence of Arabia or ER, I had to talk to a car.
Wow.
All right. His role in the show led him to a People's Choice Award for Most Popular Actor. Now, over 33 years later, the show is still playing throughout the world. I mean, how many people can say they have not one, but two TV shows playing all over the world so many decades after they were first released?
Well, that's one that you can't take that away from him. I mean, really, you can't take that away from him.
And
I mean, he does have that.
yeah, all right, let's get to Baywatch, of course. Is this one of your favorite TV shows? And nobody ever talks about Baywatch Nights, but come on.
Well, Baywatch Nights was the most superior one, I think.
I
I mean,
think about the level of brilliance it takes to go from Baywatch to paranormal Baywatch at night.
yeah, I mean, I have to agree, Bruce. I mean, that stuff is the stuff of legend. I mean, that was quality. The people that created Thunder, like, they were the ones that created Baywatch Nights. Like, it has to be.
And
like,
Baywatch. They did all three. I
some-
believe the producers, if you haven't checked out our podcast on Thunder in Paradise, that is also a perennial show that does not get the recognition it deserves. Like I said, the only thing missing from that show is probably the Hoff. I mean, if the Hoff teamed up with the Hulkster, that would have been a pretty epic show.
Oh yeah, that would have been awesome. But like, I still maintain that like I thought that like it was the fact that like Hulk just walked through it like it was gonna last 20 seasons, which I guess based on the success of Baywatch, like he had reason to believe it would.
That's a good point. All right, so let's look at the show Baywatch. Hasselhoff returned to television on Baywatch, which premiered in 1989. Although it was canceled after only one season, he believed the series had potential, so Hasselhoff revived it for the first run syndication market in 1991, investing his own money and additionally functioning as executive producer. His contract stipulated royalties to be paid to him from the rerun profits, which gave him the financial liberty to buy back the rights to Baywatch from NBC. So let's examine the genius of this man. So this is not just a talented performer. His vision enabled him. So the execs canceled the show. He decided that this show was a very good show and he put his own money into it and became executive producer and stipulated this contract which enabled him to buy the rights of the actual TV show. I mean, is there any other actor in history? I mean, other than maybe James Cameron with Titanic, even though James Cameron's not an actor, or possibly Mel Gibson with Passion of the Christ. I mean, who else has this level of forward thinking?
Um, well, probably George Lucas, but with the Star Wars franchise. But,
well, let me rephrase this. On the television platform, is there even a close second to this kind
well,
of
the fact
vision?
that like he had a brain to begin with is actually pretty shocking, especially for TV.
Well,
know.
do you not remember his accolades in high school? Let me reiterate them again. He was on the speech team, the senior discussion leaders. He was president of the choir, captain of the volleyball team, and was in all these plays. I mean, that's a pretty wide range. I mean, he's got athletics, he's got politics, he's got he's got the thespian aspect. I mean, he's firing on all cylinders here.
Yeah. I wonder what his grades were.
You know, that's very interesting. Let me nail that down because that's very relevant here. Do you want his entire transcript?
I think a summary report will do, Bruce. The fact that like there's space wasted on the internet with this shit is actually pretty. I find it humorous.
Let me see if I can get his whole transcripts. Okay.
By the way, I think you might be onto something with the subliminal thing because I have like this sudden desire to like go to a Five Guys and buy a burger right now. I don't know why.
So David Hasselhoff was inducted into the Lyons Township High School Hall of Fame in 1994. This is the actual Lyons Township High School District 204 website, lths.net. And this is what they say about David M. Hasselhoff. David Hasselhoff, international star of stage and screen and 1970 graduate, began his acting career at the age of 7. During his junior year at LT, he was awarded an apprenticeship with the troupe of American college players. He credits this and his early experience in LT musicals and choir as instrumental to his success as an actor. Hasselhoff, the star and executive producer of the television series Baywatch, is seen by 1 billion viewers in over 140 countries each week. Okay, let's see here.
Well, no, this sounds like really exciting, Bruce. I mean, like, you know, to have like such like an accredited Hall of Fame. Who else is part of the Hall of Fame? This district.
Hold on a second. Let me finish here. In addition to appearing in television, movies, and miniseries, Hasselhoff has become an international singing sensation. He has released 5 albums that have sold over 6 million copies and has headlined sold-out European concert tours. Hasselhoff frequently comforts terminally ill children in hospitals. He organized Race for Life, a charity that raises money for children who are terminally ill and hospitalized throughout the world. So he's also this philanthropist as well. All right, let's see. Let me see here in their Hall of Fame here. It'd be funny if he was the only member.
It actually wouldn't be surprising.
I wonder if they have.
Yeah, like in other words, like this is like David Hasselhoff founded the Hall of Fame, and
No, they have other people. It looks like they have quite a few entries here, but you have to manually type in the numbers to get them. They're just random people.
that's kind of convenient, don't you think, Bruce?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go back to his grades here.
I mean, like, who's on the board with him? Because obviously he's on the board. Like, the guy that owns the Pizza Hut on the corner. Like, I mean, actually, that would be kind of impressive. But, like, still, like, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to find his damn transcript. It's kind of weird. Like, you would think his transcript would be available.
If, like, he's really a person.
Are you saying David Hasselhoff some kind of psyop?
Well, you don't know. I mean, like it's like the guy has just done so many things to change the world. Like, you know, I mean, I don't know how you fit in like cutting ribbons at hospitals and like being with like, you know, the children dying of like, you know, third world diseases and like going and like becoming triple platinum in Germany and like, you know, being Peter Pan and playing like Baywatch all at the same time. Like,
All right, you're gonna love this. Okay, I couldn't find his transcript, but I found a write up here by his English teacher. So no, get this. This is gonna be some of the most mind shocking discussion on the podcast thus far. So she posted this on her blog, Barbara Glands, spreading contagious enthusiasm. Barbara's blog. September 15th, 2019. My children think my greatest claim to fame is that I taught David Hasselhoff in my sophomore English class at Lyons Township High School in LaGrange, Illinois, and I also directed him that summer in his first high school play. It is a fun personal fact that I always include at the end of my serious introduction when I am speaking, and it always gets a laugh from the audience. David's family moved to LaGrange in the middle of the year in '68, and he was assigned to my English class. Because I had gotten such great reviews from my former students my first 2 years of teaching, they asked me to try an experiment to see if I could keep the same spirit of learning, creativity, and fun with classes of 35 to 40 students instead of the usual 25. I learned later that after meeting me and attending his first class, he went to the principal and asked to be transferred to another class because he thought I was too young to be a good teacher. Can you imagine the gall of David Hasselhoff? The audacity. Can you imagine being a sophomore in high school and going to the principal stating that this particular teacher is too young to be a good teacher? I mean, does this tell you everything you need to know about the Hoff?
Yeah, it does.
So, by the way, the teacher was 24 at the
Tells
time.
me what he thinks of women, too.
The Hoff, so the teacher was 24 at the time. The principal told him that he
It explains the whole bedrock of Baywatch in like 2 sentences.
All right, check this out. The principal told him that he needed to stay for 1 month, and if he still felt that way, he could have a transfer. Well, not only he stayed for the rest of the year, but along with 100 other students, he signed up for the theater class I was teaching that summer. For some reason, maybe I had an inkling that he would one day be famous, I saved the following letter he wrote me at the end of that school year. Are you curious to see the thoughts of sophomore in high school David M. Hasselhoff?
Oh, don't stop now, Bruce. I mean,
Okay, here they are.
this is thunder right here.
At first, I thought you were way too young for a teacher, which led me to believe that you might not be a good teacher from past experience with young teachers. But my mind was soon changed. I enjoyed the class very much, even though my grades don't necessarily show it. So here's our answer for what his grades might have looked like in high school.
And you see, Bruce, that's why I work for the government. I'm able to unearth these little nuggets.
Oh, man. I mean, this investigation into the Hoff's grades, I mean, I'm glad you brought that question up because we would have never found this out if I hadn't gone on this wild goose chase to find his transcript. And that's probably why his transcript's not available. It's probably quite dismal.
That explains everything. Like, bingo. I knew it. See? That is why.
But keep in mind, he's still.
I'm gonna have to tell my boss that, Bruce. I have to say, like.
I wonder if we could get the Hoff on the podcast. It'd be nice for you to be able to interview him. What do you think? I wonder if he would do the MINDSHOCK podcast.
I'd be able to ask him like very candid questions, like Like.
All right, so let me finish this letter here. I'm so glad I got put in this class because I think you have helped me and will further help me this summer towards my goal in life. After all the criticism I have given you, I would really like to say that this was the best class I have had in 2 years, and that's the truth. I am looking forward to working with you this summer in theater workshop. Is that code name for summer school?
Probably. And, like, first of all, it's like you could tell. I mean, like the sentences and the language are so well put together. I mean, you could tell he went to a private school. Like, he's such a good writer. And like, she sounds like she was a total bitch to him, and he sounds like he was like just like the class punk. Like, I almost feel like I would like to dig even deeper, Bruce. I feel like the principal made him write this letter.
Well, just the audacity.
So he could get
do you remember
into high school?
Okay, do you remember being a sophomore in high school? Can you imagine going to the principal and telling the principal to their face, this teacher's too young to be a good teacher, I need a transfer? I mean, the audacity of David M. Hasselhoff, I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I swear to God, this was like, he had to write this letter to get into summer school. Like,
all right, well, here's the rest of the blog post by his teacher. That summer, he played the lead in Once Upon a Mattress.
Wow. That's not even a role. That's like looking into the future.
Oh, man. The story of the Princess and the Pea, his first real theater debut.
There you go.
So the Hoff's claim to fame is Once Upon a Mattress.
There you go. That's like looking into the future, Bruce.
Oh man! Since the students tackled every aspect of the production, including making all the costumes as part of the learning, we wanted to keep them simple, so the guys all wore tunics and tights. We all laughed because after searching the world, we could never find tights to fit his long legs. I can still wow. Okay, this is about to get really strange. Are you ready for this?
He played the part of the mattress.
No, check this out. We can never find tights to fit his long legs. I can still remember his coming to my house. This is the teacher writing this. So this is a 24-year-old teacher writing this
Here we
about
go.
I can still remember his coming to my house and trying them on, and the crotch would come to his knees. In the end, we had to sew 2 pairs together. So is it common for students to go to their teacher's house to try on wardrobe?
Well, I mean, it might be, especially when you're the lead in Once Upon a Mattress. I mean,
Oh man, this is so
were
mind shocking.
rehearsals held at her house too?
Oh man, I don't know, but okay. And she also put a little emoji here of a wink regarding the crotch coming to his knees.
She saw him, Buck. You know she did, Bruce. Like, she's just not saying anything. She
In
saw him.
in 2007, like what kind of relationship do you think they had?
I don't know, but like...
I mean, this is what, 1968.
This
And
is
they're
the days when you could get away with this type of thing. Like,
in 2007, I was speaking in Las Vegas, and as I was getting off the plane, I saw a huge electronic sign advertising David Hasselhoff starring in The Producers. When I got to the hotel, I called the concierge and asked him if she could get me a ticket to the show the next night, and if she could possibly get a message to David that his old English and drama teacher was in the audience. She got a chuckle out of that and said she would try. The next day, I got a call from David's assistant. She said he was dying to see me, and if I could stay after the show, he would send me a backstage pass. The show was delightful, and afterwards David and I spent an hour in his dressing room reminiscing, catching up on our
over the
families,
mattress.
and sharing what we had done in all those years. He left me with this picture, which was signed with the following inscription: to Barbara, your enthusiasm has kept me going. Keep up the good work. I know he has had some rough times in his life, but that night I could still see the committed, sincere, and fun-loving young man I knew many years ago. Now, okay, this is a little strange to me because if you were this guy's English teacher and if you were writing a blog post, would you include the detail of him coming to your house for wardrobe fittings for the play Once Upon a Mattress?
I don't think she fucking cares. Like, she's from, like, the old school, like, you know, like, where there were actual teachers, not like this, like, animatronic puppet shit like you see today. You know what I mean?
Right,
Where
I'm
it's
just,
like,
and
you're more
I'm just
concerned
gonna.
about PC than you are about, like, actual education.
So I'm just gonna reread the
I mean,
one.
the very staged production. Like, do you think? I mean, they're banning Dr. Seuss books, Bruce. Do you think that Once Upon a Mattress is like play anywhere locally?
Well, let me just reread the one part of his letter that I thought was great. I enjoyed the class very much, even though my grades don't necessarily show it. Don't you like how he threw the word in necessarily?
If anybody's listening to this that has a copy, a VHS copy, whatever copy of the Once Upon a Mattress with David Hasselhoff, this company will pay you like money. Like, I'll put up a reward to see.
I mean, it
like,
was
a copy of that.
1968. Do you think what it was like some 8 mil film? You think somebody filmed it?
You
with
never
everything?
know. Like, well, I'll pay to have it, like, you know, analyzed. Like, I have connections. Like, I want to see that.
All right, let me see if I can. Let me see if it exists.
I mean, even, like, if anyone has any memorabilia, such as, like, just, like, a picture. Like,
Let me try to find. Let me see what I can find. Let's see. Nope, not able to find anything. But
yeah, that was buried deep by
all right. Well, now that we answered the question regarding what kind of grades he got, Very good question, by the way, Jr. Very, very good question. All right, let's get back to to the hop here with Baywatch. In its second incarnation, Baywatch was much more successful. It ran for a total of 11 years. And from the 90s until its series finale in 2001, was watched by almost 1 billion viewers across 140 countries, solidifying his status among the world's most foremost television personalities of the said period. This success, combined with his royalties and other ventures, have placed Hasselhoff's fortune at more than $100 million. Don't you think he should have more money than that, considering? I mean, we're talking about 1 billion viewers here. I mean, how many TV shows get a viewership of over 1 billion?
Well, with all like the booze and women and mattresses, he probably there's expenses first. Not to mention, he's not the type of guy that just lives in like a normal mansion. You know that it's got to be like a ridiculous mansion.
Okay, wow. Here is something I did not know. You call me, man. Maybe it's familiar. I don't know. I vaguely recall something, but I didn't know this. In 1991, Hasselhoff reprised his role as Michael Knight in the television film Knight Rider 2000 as a sequel to the original series. The movie served as a pilot for a proposed new series, but despite high ratings, the plan was abandoned. Isn't that curious? It had high ratings. Knight Rider 2000. It has that catchy, gimmicky 2000 title, which like everything in the 90s had, and it actually didn't become its own series. I mean, that could have been quite epic as well.
Yeah, I mean, it could be one of those things where like it was just like a contract, conflict or a time conflict. I mean, seriously, the guy has what, like 10 minutes to eat, sleep, and like shit. And,
I don't know where he could find the 10 minutes. I'm trying to run the calculations here. I don't see those 10 minutes. I don't know where you got that from.
Well, I mean, yeah.
We'll get to it. We'll get to a schedule. In 1996, Hasselhoff was given a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In 1997, he performed a duet with Filipino singer Regine Velasquez, which was used as the main theme for his 1998 movie Legacy. When he made his Broadway debut in 2000 in the title role of Jekyll and Hyde. In August 2001, he hosted an event at the Conga Room in Los Angeles honoring the Latin rock band Renegade for record sales in excess of 30 million units, taking the stage with Latin rockers and singing in Spanish. Is there anything this man can't do?
How do you know he's really a man?
I don't know. Are you saying he's some kind of genetically engineered MK Ultra entity?
Either that, or he's like owned by some sort of corporation that like we don't know anything about.
Beginning on July 16th, 2004, he played the lead role in London performances of Chicago for 3 months. He had a major role in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, released November 19th, 2004, starring as himself, though resembling his bygone Baywatch character, and meeting SpongeBob and Patrick. His full name is heard once in the movie. He is referred to as Hasselhoff. Hasselhoff has another short appearance in the movie Dodgeball, a true underdog story, as the dodgeball coach to the German national dodgeball team, Team Hasselhoff. Berating his team after being eliminated from a tournament, he shouts, "Ihr seid alle Schwein," translated, "You are all pigs," a common German insult. How many languages does this man know?
I don't know, Bruce. I mean, his Rosetta Stone must be on fire.
Well, not only does he know the languages, he could also sing. Not only sing in them, but go platinum in all these different albums in all these different languages. I mean,
he's like one of these people where he just shows up, Bruce. I mean, honestly, he's like Pesci. Like, he just shows up and like makes money. Like, I don't really think that like a lot of this. I mean, SpongeBob.
In 2006, in the Adam Sandler film Click, Hasselhoff portrays Sandler's despicable boss. Hasselhoff also appears in an episode of Wild Boys with a Z. In 2007, he again played himself in the Jamie Kennedy comedy Kickin' It Old School. Do you remember that movie?
I can't say that I do, Bruce.
All right, check out the plot here. Check out the plot. Whatever happened to Jamie Kennedy, by the way? A young breakdancer hits his head during a talent show, slips into a coma for 20 years. Waking up in 2006, he looks to revive his and his team's career with the help of his girlfriend and his parents.
Wow. I mean, this guy gets the most cherry picked shit in Hollywood.
No, but the thing is, how did this come about? Because how did he get all because he had a role on some soap opera? All of a sudden, the head of TV networks are specifically trying to get him for TV. I mean, this doesn't make any sense.
It does make sense, Bruce. A lot of talentless people on soap operas. I mean, look at Kelly Ripa. What did she bring to The Young and the Restless?
No, but we're talking about David Hasselhoff here. We're talking about one of the most talented human beings in the history of humanity.
I'm surprised you were able to get all that out in one gasp.
I mean, can you think of anybody more talented than him?
Well, Nikolai Tesla. Well, I don't know.
Was Nikola Tesla also a musician and an actor?
Possibly.
I mean, if he was, he was. I mean, that's fair. But, I mean, there's plenty of geniuses that are geniuses in their field. But the Hoff, I mean, look at the range of what he's done.
I know.
All right, check this out. In his music video for Jump in My Car, he engages in self-parody, this time parodying his performance as Michael Knight in Knight Rider. I mean, also, a man of his integrity and character to be able to laugh at himself. How many celebrities can actually do that honestly?
That's true. I'll give him that.
The car in the video is a black Pontiac Trans Am with a pulsing LED and an interior nearly identical to that of the KITT car in the series. The video was shot in Sydney, Australia using a right-hand drive KITT replica, including KITT's ejection seat system. In November 2006, Mel Brooks announced Hasselhoff would portray Roger Debris, the director of the Nazi musical Springtime for Hitler, in the Las Vegas production of The Producers. In 2006, Hasselhoff became a co-judge on NBC's America's Got Talent, a show that showcases America's best amateur entertainers. He also judged a second, third, and fourth season alongside Sharon Osbourne and Piers Morgan. And we don't need to discuss those two individuals. On the 2007 season finale, Hasselhoff sang, "This is
the Prince of Darkness and Bruce. And,
what does that have to do with? What does that have to do with Sharon? I'm not talking about Ozzy.
Oh. Yeah, I never really understood, what her claim to fame was.
Okay. On the 2007 season finale, Hasselhoff sang "This Is the Moment." He was replaced by comedian Howie Mandel for season 5, and I don't even know how that happened. Do people actually prefer Mandel to Hasselhoff?
I don't even know what to do with that, Bruce. Just keep going.
Okay. Later career, Hasselhoff produced Baywatch for its first run syndication. He has spoken at both the Oxford and Cambridge student unions. He was also a celebrity cast member on the 11th season of Dancing with the Stars, which increased its ratings by 36%. That's pretty impressive. In 2011, he joined Britain's Got Talent judging panel as the additional fourth judge. Hasselhoff was later honored on Comedy Central's The Comedy Central Roast of David Hasselhoff, in addition to receiving the International Star of the Year Award for outstanding contribution to global entertainment by the Bollywood Awards. He's getting Bollywood Awards? I mean, come on. Is there anybody else who has this kind of versatility?
No, so far, I have to say, the range is pretty good.
I mean, it's impressive. He was awarded the Comeback Star of the Year Award during the VH1 Big in 2006 awards. In February 2008, towards the end of Knight Rider 2008, he reprised his career-making role as Michael Knight. Okay, how many times has he reprised this role? Have you seen Knight Rider 2008?
No, I haven't, Bruce. I have to say, I haven't really followed the Hoff to the extent, apparently, that I should have.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a faux pas on your part. I mean, why have you not followed this talented man?
because like I was working for our nation instead.
There's no excuses, JR. There's no excuses here. Not to mention, I mean, the Knight Rider universe, you need to be up to date on all the incarnations of the Knight Rider universe. Okay.
I blame myself, Bruce.
Okay, he reprised his career-making role as Michael Knight as he walked on to introduce himself to his on-screen son, Mike Tresseur. On November 12, 2008, he became the first celebrity downloadable character for the PlayStation Network's video game Pain. I mean, how many records does this man have to set? That's really funny. So check out, this game Pain, which was released November 29th, 2007 in North America. In Pain, the player attempts to damage the ragdoll character they play and the environment as much as possible by flinging them from a rubber band slingshot using the Havoc physics engine. The characters have distinct poses and phrases, can move by ooching, and can grab things to throw or hang from. Replay videos can be watched and can be edited and uploaded to YouTube or the PlayStation 3's hard drive disc. Check out the characters here. Besides the regular characters available, Santa Claus, Katsuaki Kato, the Famitsu editor-in-chief, Elvira, Flavor Flav, George Takai, Andy Dick, and David Hasselhoff were remade in the game. PlayStation characters Buzz, Daxter, and the titular Fat Princess are also available.
Flavor Flav and George Takai?
Don't forget Elvira. What is this? Mistress of Darkness? Is that what?
What the fuck?
This is the game Pain, and the Hoff was, of course, the first celebrity downloadable character for this game. Just another one of many accolades of the Hoff. Okay, in September 2009, he featured on a radio podcast for Compare the Meerkat, part of the advertising for British website CompareTheMarket.com. He was the subject of an early day motion in the House of Commons of the UK as a result of his support for the reopening of the Morecambe Winter Gardens. In 2010, Hasselhoff guest hosted Professional Wrestling's WWE Raw in London, England. I mean, like I said, this man, I mean, the versatility here, it's very impressive. On August 15th, 2010, Comedy Central aired a special roast of Hasselhoff. Hasselhoff returned to The Young and the Restless, reprising his role as Snapper for a short arc that aired in mid-June 2010. Is he also like one of the only actors to reprise his role? I mean, how many decades? Was it like 3 decades? Almost 3 decades later, he's reprising roles?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. In October 2010, it would be announced he would be playing Captain Hook in the new Wimbledon Theatre production of the pantomime Peter Pan from December 2010 to January 2011.
Pantomime Peter Pan? You mean the pantomime theater, right? Like, not like it's not a pantomime version of Peter Pan.
I have no idea. It says new Wimbledon Theatre production of the... How have you not followed Hasselhoff's theatrical career? What the heck is wrong with you, JR?
I don't know, Bruce.
He reprised his role of Hoff the Hook for 2012
Oh my god.
at the Manchester Opera. You can't make this stuff up, JR.
No, you really can't. I think that's why he's such a legend. Like, I mean, seriously.
I mean, has anybody accomplished more than the Hoff across this many platforms?
I don't know.
I can't think of anybody.
I have to say, like, I mean, I think you know my, like, true, genuine feelings and sarcasm towards the Hoff in general, but I have to say, like, his range really, truly is, like, impressive. It's kind of almost like, just like that person that, like, you really can't stand, but you can't deny the fact that, like, they actually, like, do what they say they're gonna do. Like, he actually really, put himself out there. Maybe that's a testament to him. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, he really just puts himself out there. I mean, sometimes he succeeds, sometimes he fails, but, like, He
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
genuinely has
whoa, whoa,
tried
whoa,
everything.
whoa, Jr. When has he ever failed?
Well, I just mean that, like, I mean, obviously, like, he's probably had tripped up, like, somewhere.
I mean,
along
come
the
on.
lines.
Anybody who can play Hoff the Hook clearly knows no failure.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
that's genius marketing. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. We're not even done. In 2011, he was guest judge at the Belgian Idols competition. Hasselhoff became a judge on Britain's Got Talent in 2011 alongside Amanda Holden, Michael McIntyre, and Simon Cowell. Do you have any thoughts on Simon Cowell?
We'll save that for another podcast.
Okay, fair point. However, Hasselhoff was axed after only one series on the show and was replaced by David Walliams. In 2011, he revived his music career with a short tour across Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. In the same year, Hasselhoff was featured in the trailer of the spin-off downloadable game Burnout Crash. Why is he so popular in video games? Like, this new generation of kids don't even know who he is. And, like, he's, like, the number one downloadable character in all these games. Does that make any sense to you, JR?
Well, he does, in a way, yes, Bruce, because, he does appeal to, he appeals to, like, that transitionary generation. So I can see that.
Well, let me give you the description of Burnout Crash. In Burnout Crash, players drive into an intersection and attempt to cause as big a pileup as possible. Points are earned for causing damage and destroying the environment and other vehicles. See, this is the game. This is the game that the Hoff is a downloadable character for. Are you still maintaining this makes sense?
In today's world, yes, I am, Bruce.
In February 2014, February 24th, he opened his own 10-week talk show in Sweden. I mean, you do have a point. Like, how is he popular in all these random countries? So, like, he's big in Germany for the records. Now he's got a Swedish talk show. I mean, does any of this make sense?
I think he's got, like, a bodyguard or something. He's got to be. I mean, really, there's, like, no other explanation. Like, maybe, like, Hasselhoff is, like, just kind of like a brand. Maybe
No, let me finish this, because I didn't even finish. In February 24, 2014, he opened his own 10-week talk show in Sweden on TV3 in English. A similar show was later recorded in Finland, premiering February 2nd, 2015. What connection does he have to? He's got a talk show in Sweden and Finland, and he's that big. He's doing it in English, but yet it's airing in those countries. Does that make any sense to you, JR?
You know what, Bruce? I've come to the understanding that there are only two other people on this earth that can be in as many places at one time as David Hasselhoff. One is Mickey Mouse, and the other is Santa.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anybody else.
Well, we're not even done yet. On New Year's Eve, he performed at the Brandenburg Gate. But here we have some evidence that he's a human. He arrived late because his plane was diverted to Hanover. So he does have a late arrival between doing talk shows and theater performances and movies and recording albums and doing judging talent contests.
That guy must be on so many steroids.
Not to mention recording his voice for the video game. I mean, when does he have time to do this?
Wow.
We don't even have time to go over it on a podcast. Like, we don't even have time to go over what he's done. How did he have time to do it? All right,
Yeah, I just don't know.
Let's continue here. Hasselhoff had a major role in Sharknado 3, Oh Hell No, which premiered globally on July 22nd, 2015. He then starred in a new musical, Last Night a DJ Saved My Life, at the Blackpool Opera House late in 2015.
Wait. My brain just goes like it took a minute for it to get Sharknado 3?
Yeah, the tagline is Oh Hell No. And let's look at the cast here. Sharknado 3, Oh Hell No, is a 2015 made-for-television action comedy horror film and the third installment in the Sharknado film series, following Sharknado and Sharknado 2, the second one. The film was directed by Anthony C. Ferrant with Ian Ziering of 90210, Tara Reid, Cassie Sherbo, and Mark McGrath reprising their roles from the previous installments. Also joining the cast are David Hasselhoff, Bo Derek, and Ryan Newman and Jack Griffo. Irish musical duo Jedward wrote and performed the film's official theme song, Oh Hell No. In the film, Finn Shepard and his allies attempt to stop a group of Sharknadoes that emerge in Florida.
Okay. I'm just gonna have to secretly watch that on the side.
Wait, how have you not seen the Sharknado franchise?
Stop asking me that, Bruce. Just continue with the guy's fucking filmography. I'll see if I can bundle a couple.
There was also a tie-in one-shot comic, Archie vs. Sharknado, released by Archie Comics.
God, the guy just like somehow like oozes into like every facet of humanity. I'm surprised like he wasn't on like the away team when like Bezos like shot himself into space. Like,
all right, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this.
I probably, you know what, Bruce, I'm not a betting man. I'm probably not ready for it.
On May 18th, 2017, the town of Funner, California, introduced its first official mayor, David Hasselhoff.
So he runs the town while he's doing all this?
Don't ask me. I don't know how this man does it. He's now a mayor as well, in addition to starring in these musicals, Sharknado, judging talent shows.
Don't forget, like, you know, the...
hosting his own 10-week talk shows in random European countries.
He runs a town? Did he even campaign? Like,
I mean, would anybody run against him?
I'm not going to answer that. Let's just, like, okay, so he runs... not only is he in politics, but he's, like, a mayor. And everything else. Okay, alright. Alright.
We're not done yet, by the way.
I think, like, the next time, like, we elect, like, a president, I'm just gonna write this guy's name in. Like,
well, actually, you know, isn't it shocking that he hasn't been president? I mean, maybe that's the next stop. I mean, he's only 69.
That's true, Bruce. You raise a good point. I mean...
Actually, wait, isn't that... he's only 69, and we're still not done going over his career.
Yeah, we're only up to, like, what, 2017?
Yeah, 2017. All right, let's continue here. Hasselhoff also starred in a cameo role in Guardians of the Galaxy sequel, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, as himself. He additionally performed the song Guardians Inferno, heard over the closing credits of the film, and lent his appearance to a retro-styled music video for the track found on the film's DVD and Blu-ray release. So he's a mayor. He's judging talent shows. He's recording talk shows. He's doing
a Guardian of the Galaxy.
And he's in Sharknado 3. And he's recording soundtracks.
Wow. It's not every day that you meet,
he also
like,
goes,
you know...
No, but he's also doing music tours and theatrical Broadway performances. And you know what's even more impressive? Isn't he drunk out of his mind, like, this entire time?
Yeah, like...
Okay, alright, we're not done yet. On October 28th, 2019, Dolly Parton announced that Hasselhoff will star in 9 to 5 the musical at the Savoy Theatre in London's West End from December 2nd, 2019 until February 8th, 2020.
So he's even, like, he's a mayor, he fights Sharknadoes, he's a Guardian of the Galaxy, and now he's linked to Dolly Parton?
Yeah. Okay, so let's go over some highlights. In 2006, fans of David Hasselhoff launched a tongue-in-cheek website, Get Hasselhoff to #1, in an attempt to get to the 1989 hit, Looking for Freedom, to the top of the UK charts through internet downloads of the single. The campaign attracted attention on British radio and television broadcasts, in the national press, and on the internet. Over 40,000 people signed up to receive the Hoff alert email when the time had come to purchase the single. The focus of the campaign shifted to Jump in My Car when that was actually released as a single, and BBC Radio 1 DJ Scott Mills lent his support. On October 3rd, 2006, the Hoff alert was sent out, and Hasselhoff promptly gained his highest ever UK chart entry on October 8th, 2006, but it was only number 3. Is that disappointing he couldn't get to #1? I mean, 3 is impressive, especially for something that came out in 1989. So he's getting number...
He had everything else, like, he was doing all this other crap, like...
Now, hold on a second, though. In 2006, he charted his song from 1989, top 3 in the UK. Is there anybody else that could pull that off?
I don't know.
In 2008, Hasselhoff launched a MySpace-like social networking site known as HoffSpace. This guy also has his own social networking site. I mean...
He's like that annoying guy at parties. It's like, oh, I was captain. I was that. You know, like, oh, like, you know, I wanted it. I've done that.
Okay,
Oh,
hold
like,
on.
you know,
Hold
I
on.
met Sally Parker.
No, hold on. Let me read this Newsbeat article. So this is news.bbc.co.uk. Thousands sign up for HoffSpace. More than 6,000 people have already signed up to David the Hoff Hasselhoff's new social networking site since its recent launch. He set up his own so-called HoffSpace because he was tired of fakes posing as him on other social networking sites. The U.S. actor and singer told BBC Radio 1 the site was about getting a pulse on all the crazy people out there. Hasselhoff, 55, is in London to guest host Channel 4's Sunday Night Project with Justin Lee Collins and Alan Carr. We didn't even go over all of his guest host appearances. Like, I mean, that might take like how many hours?
Yeah.
We might not have time for that.
I'm not getting through that.
But Hoff thing, at the time of his writing, his website, davidhasselhoff.com, had 6,740 members. I couldn't really get the internet together because Knight Rider and Baywatch and this Hoff thing has taken off so much. Around the world, we put together our own Hoff space, he said. I was on MySpace and Facebook, and I was getting a lot of phonies. A lot of people were coming in posing as me or my children, and I had to stop it. So I opened my own that is going to be fun, and I can regulate it. It's a way of getting around the world from Russia to Japan to Europe and getting a pulse on all the crazy people out there.
You know, it's actually pretty smart when you think about it. I mean, if I've done as much, I mean, maybe you can pay your taxes to, like, the town, like, you know, like, through HoffSpace.
Hasselhoff, who first came to the world's attention as Michael Knight in the cult TV show Knight Rider before starring in Baywatch, has also had a prolific music career. Talent judge. His last single, Jump in My Car, hit the top of the UK and European charts, and the video was downloaded more than 6 million times. He is currently appearing as a judge along Sharon Osbourne and Piers Morgan in America's Got Talent, or America's Got Whackers, as he called it. I think I have seen every transvestite and every transsexual in America, he said. We found some pretty amazing talent this year.
Well, he's definitely Catholic.
It is just good fun, and we need good fun on television. On his fellow judges, he said Sharon was great, but refused to comment on Piers.
Well, I'm sure Pierce probably has a lot to say.
A new series of Knight Riders in the pipeline, but he said he will not be starring in it. Instead, he said he was looking for a new James Bond-style series, but remained tight-lipped about his latest project, which includes a game. Actually, is that shocking that he hasn't played Bond yet? I mean, that's actually kind of shocking, is it not, given his versatility?
To be honest with you, Bond has a long history of picking like unknown, like random people to be Bond at the time they pick Bond. Like they're famous after. I mean, they might have done like, a couple things, but like they're not normally like ultra. I mean, what like I think Roger Moore was like a model. Um, the other one was like Timothy Dalton was like some random. He did a couple random things. Daniel Craig did a couple random things, but like they normally pick like relatively like unknown, like next to like how known Hoff is. Like I don't think they would pick him. I think he's like just too well known for the
Well,
Bond archetype.
he could at least be a villain with an eye patch, like Nick Fury style.
That's true. But they also changed the flavor of Bond ever since Broccoli died. Like it's more serious now. They don't have that.
Are you saying there's somebody more serious than the Hoff?
You try to keep setting me up for one-liners, Bruce, but like, there's, I mean, seriously, there's nothing to say. The guy's obviously done everything.
I don't know. I could see him in a Bond. He's only 69. I mean, come on.
This guy rivals fucking, Noah. Like,
Actually, you know what? You know what else is kind of
I'm
funny?
surprised he's not a carpenter. I'm surprised that he's.
Well, you know what else is surprising? That he hasn't been to space yet.
Well, that's what I was saying before. Like, he seems like the same like type of material that like Bezos would have like on like, the station.
Yeah.
I don't know why he didn't do that. Like,
all right, now I must have missed this, but I missed the Hasselhoff's reality TV show. Hasselhoff and his daughters, Taylor Ann and Haley, starred in a reality TV series on A&E called The Hasselhoffs. The series launched on so he's also recording a reality TV show amongst everything else. The series launched on December 5th, 2010, and focused on Hasselhoff's attempts to resuscitate his career and launch his daughters onto the Hollywood stage. On December
what do you
10th,
mean resuscitate his career?
yeah, I know,
Like,
it looks like it never went anywhere. Actually, in 2010, perhaps there was a lull. I mean, we'll go into the timeline because it seems like after, actually, maybe not, because he was hosting WWE Raw. He was on Comedy Central. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess resuscitate means it was in a slight lull compared to his heyday. Perhaps he was not recording that year.
I don't know.
So December 10th, 2010, A&E confirmed in a statement that after airing just 2 episodes, the Hasselhoffs had been canceled. According to Nielsen ratings, the first episode was seen by 718,000 viewers. Viewers dropped to 505,000 for the second installment, which aired on the same evening. The full series aired in the UK May 30th, 2011 on the Biography channel. Hasselhoff stars in a casino-style game series online, produced in partnership with Eric Bischoff, with Europe being among the first markets to roll out the game. So he's also got a casino-style gambling online game. In keeping with internet and online gambling culture in the UK, the Hoff series of games includes video slots and scratch card type games, all played for real money in Europe's online casino environment. So the Hoff is also a casino tycoon. The first in the series of games launched on Valentine's Day in March 2013, with media and promotional activities commencing in early February. Hoff the Record. In 2014, UK channel Dave announced that it had commissioned Hoff the Record, a sitcom series in which Hasselhoff plays a fictionalized version of himself. This series started airing on June 18th, 20. So he's also got a sitcom in addition to all of this. I'm actually surprised he hadn't done one prior, aren't you?
Yeah. It is. It's kind of shocking.
It's No Game and The Hoff Bot. In 2017, Hasselhoff appeared in short film It's No Game by director Oscar Sharp, playing the Hoffbot. Hasselhoff's lines were generated by a neural network artificial intelligence named Benjamin, using a statistical model trained on his own 80s and 90s television performances. Hasselhoff said the AI really had a handle on what's going on in my life, and it was strangely emotional. So he also does these short art house films about like artificial intelligence. We're not done yet. We're not done yet, JR. All right, check this out. Motivational speaking. Hasselhoff also works as a motivation speaker. In January 2014, he spoke before hundreds of students at New College, Nottingham, in Nottingham, England. Like, does this guy live in England now? In April 2019, Hasselhoff spoke before thousands of attendees at TwitchCon, Europe in Berlin, Germany. So in addition to all the games, the sitcoms, the record albums, the theatrical performances, the television performances, the film performances, the judging of talent, the talk shows, the guy also does motivational speaking. Do you have anything to say about this, JR?
No, I really don't.
All right, so let's do our final recap here. So let's break down musical career in the 70s. February 2nd, 1977, Hasselhoff made his musical debut on The Merv Griffin Show, performing Nadia's theme. The theme song from the American television soap The Young and the Restless, a show in which Hasselhoff himself was starring at the time. Okay, this is hard, man. This is tough to get through. Like, how many people are this freaking talented? I mean, it's just crazy. 10 years later, his version of the song was included on his second album, Lovin' Feelings, 1987. 1980, 6 years after his debut live performance, Hasselhoff released in 1983 his debut single, I Get the Message. You gotta love this guy's titles. I mean, this guy really knows how to title his song. In 84, Hasselhoff made a guest appearance in the first season of Kids Incorporated, performing Do You Love Me, which became the lead single from his upcoming debut studio album, Night Rocker. Which was released in January 1985. The album was a big success in Austria, reaching number 1 and being certified platinum. In 1987, Hasselhoff released his second studio album, Lovin' Feelings, which reached top 20 in Austria and Germany and being certified gold. That same year, due to the popularity of Knight Rider in Europe, Hasselhoff embarked on his first headlining tour across Austria with a special guest appearance from Kit. So he brought Kit on stage with him for his music show.
I guess so.
In 88, Hasselhoff released the song Lookin' for Freedom. The song became a hit in Europe, especially Germany, where it reached number 1 for 8 consecutive weeks. The song was also certified platinum in Germany and became the best performing single of 1989 in the country. Lookin' for Freedom also topped the charts in Austria and Switzerland, and reaching top 20 in France and Belgium. Due to its success, Hasselhoff released on June 21st, 1989, his third studio album of the same name, which was produced by German music producer Jack White. The album was a commercial success, reaching the top 5 in Austria, Germany, and Switzerland, being certified 3 times platinum in Europe. He was noted for his performance of the song At the Berlin Wall, New Year's Eve, 1989. 2 months after the East German government had opened the wall, but 9 months before unification took place.
I do remember that, yeah.
Wearing a piano keyboard scarf and a leather jacket covered in motion lights, Hasselhoff stood in a bucket crane and performed the song along with the crowd. The performance has had a lasting impact on German pop culture, with Hasselhoff commenting that the song became an anthem and the song of hope for the people of East Germany. In 2004, Hasselhoff lamented the lack of a photo of him in the Checkpoint Charlie Museum in Berlin. How come he doesn't have his own museum? You'd think there'd be like Hasselhoff museums by now, don't you think?
Yeah, I would think so.
In July 1989, Hasselhoff released his first compilation album, Night Lover, that's Knight, which contains 17 greatest hits from his first two albums, Night Rocker and Lovin' Feelings. The album reached top 20 in Switzerland and top 40 in Germany. The 90s breakthrough success of Looking for Freedom, Hasselhoff embarked on his second tour, the Freedom Tour, which took place around April and May 1990 across Germany and Switzerland. In August that year, Hasselhoff released his fourth studio album, Crazy for You, which topped the charts in Austria and Switzerland, as well as reached top 10 in Germany, eventually becoming Hasselhoff's biggest selling album in his career. In September 1991, Hasselhoff released his fifth studio album, David, which matched the success of its predecessor with both the album and the lead single, Do the Limbo Dance, reaching number one in Austria. That same year, in order to promote David, Hasselhoff embarked on his third tour, the Dreams Come True Tour, which took around November and December 91 across Austria, Germany, and Switzerland. In 1991, two compilation albums were released, Looking for Freedom and For You, with the former album including hits from 89 and 90 and the latter including hits from 85 to 87. However, both albums failed to chart. Oh wow, so he did have a failure here. In September 92, Hasselhoff released his sixth studio album, Everybody Sunshine, which became his last album, being produced by Jack White, who collaborated with Hasselhoff since 88. Though the album was certified gold in Austria, Germany, and Switzerland, it failed to reach the commercial heights of his three previous albums, Looking for Freedom, Crazy for You, and David. In November 93, Hasselhoff released his seventh studio album, You Are Everything, which also met with moderate success in Europe, although it reached the top 10 in Austria and was certified gold. The songs If I Could Only Say Goodbye and Wir zwei allein became hits in Europe, with the former becoming the first UK chart entry ever, peaking at number 35, and the latter becoming another top 10 hit in Austria, Germany, and Switzerland. That same year, he released the single Pingu Dance, based on the children's show Pingu, and his fourth compilation album, Crazy for You, which contains several hits from 89 to 91. However, both releases failed to chart. In 94, Hasselhoff toured across Germany in order to promote You Are Everything. That same year, he was scheduled to perform a concert on pay-per-view from Atlantic City. The concert was expected to help his singing career in the U.S. However, on the night of the concert, O.J. Simpson was involved in his slow-speed chase in Southern California. Viewership of the concert was significantly lower than expected due to the live coverage of the chase, and the event was ultimately a $1.5 million loss. Hasselhoff joked that 90 million people watched O.J., and 3 people watched me, including me and my mom and my dad. So, do you think? So, would you say that OJ? So the OJ Simpson fiasco cost David Hasselhoff a possible revival of his career. What do you think about that, JR?
Well, I mean, every once in a while, you gotta trip somewhere. I mean, the man, I'm surprised, that it took that long. I mean, but hey, he seems to always rebound, so.
Following this, Hasselhoff released his 8th studio album, D-U, which became Hasselhoff's first studio album not to receive any certification in Europe, and also met with moderate success in European charts. In 95, Hasselhoff released 4 greatest hits albums, including his self-titled 5th compilation album, David Hasselhoff, released on April 11, 1995 in the U.S., which became his first album in 8 years since Lovin' Feelings to be released in the U.S. Why do you think his albums weren't even released in the U.S., though? I mean, this is a guy from Baltimore who just happens to be touring Germany and Switzerland. I mean, this is a guy that was born in Baltimore who went to school in Georgia and Illinois, and why is he touring in Germany and Austria and Switzerland?
Who knows?
I mean, his albums are just charting there, but it looks like they're not even being released in the U.S. If they were released in the U.S., would he be even more popular?
You would think, but I mean, I don't know.
To promote David Hasselhoff, Hasselhoff performed for the first time Fallen in Love on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, aired on April 13th, 1995. As attempting to launch his singing career in the US, both the album and the single Fallen in Love were commercially unsuccessful, as failed to enter any Billboard chart. His sixth and seventh compilation albums, Watch Out for the Bay and Is Everybody Happy, were released in mid-1995, with the former album including songs from 85 to 87 and the latter from 89 to 91. However, both albums failed to chart as well. His eighth compilation album, Looking for the Best, was released in October 95, which contains 18 greatest hits from 89 to 94, including Looking for Freedom, Crazy for You, Do the Limbo Dance, Everybody's Sunshine, Weir's Way, Alain, and Do, as well as the US single Fallen in Love, and a new recording titled I Believe with Laura Branigan. The album charted in Austria, peaking at number 50. 2 years later, in 97, Hasselhoff signed with Polydor Records and released his ninth studio album, Hooked on a Feeling. The album became Hasselhoff's least successful album to that point in his career, becoming his first studio album that failed to chart in Germany. In 99, a ninth compilation album was released, Watch Out for Hasselhoff. Between 2001 and 2004, two more compilation albums were released, The Very Best Of and Greatest Hits. 7 years after the release of Hooked on a Feeling, Hasselhoff returned to the music scene with his 10th studio album, David Hasselhoff Sings America. Released in August 2004, with the album performing slightly better on European charts, peaking at numbers 11 and 27 in Austria and Germany, respectively. That same year, Hasselhoff released his 11th studio album, which became his first Christmas album, The Night Before Christmas. The album met with negative reviews and failed to enter any chart. In 2006, Hasselhoff released Jump in My Car, which debuted at number 3 on the UK singles chart, becoming Hasselhoff's first and only top 10 single in the UK. It also became his first and only Australian chart entry, peaking at number 50. Aren't you surprised the Hoff isn't more popular in Australia?
Yeah.
In May 2006, Hasselhoff was mentioned in an interview of Dirk Nowitzki.
We get it. He's done everything. Why do you keep reading it? It just goes on and on.
In May 2006, Hasselhoff was mentioned in an interview with Dirk Nowitzki, an NBA star playing for the Dallas Mavericks and a native of Germany. Nowitzki was asked what he does to concentrate when shooting foul shots. Dirk replied that he sings Looking for Freedom to himself. He meant this as a joke, but it was thought to be a serious answer. Shortly afterwards, Hasselhoff attended the May 26, 2006 Mavericks home playoff game where they faced the Phoenix Suns in the NBA Western Conference Finals. Interviewed by Craig Sager, Hasselhoff stated he was as much a fan of Nowitzki as Nowitzki was a fan of his. In the 2006 NBA Finals, fans of the Miami Heat in the American Airlines Arena held up facial photos of Hasselhoff and chanted his name when Nowitzki went to the foul line. On August 2nd, 2006, he proclaimed himself King of the Internet as a tongue-in-cheek advertisement for pipebacks. In December 2008, he sang the national anthem at the NCAA Las Vegas Bowl. Although the game was televised live by ESPN, the station chose not to broadcast Hasselhoff's performance. Why do you think that is, Jared? That's kind of messed up. Are they discriminating against the Hoff?
They might have been.
In 2008, a 12th compilation was released under the title of Das Allerbest. 2010's 7 years after his last album, Hasselhoff released in 2011 his 12th studio album, A Real Good Feeling, which reached number 3 in Austria, top 30 in Germany, and became Hasselhoff's first album in 14 years since Hooked on a Feeling, 97, to chart in Switzerland. Hasselhoff toured across these countries to promote the album. In 2012, he released his 13th studio album, This Time Around. However, it failed to chart. In 2015, he recorded the single True Survivor, accompanied by a music video which featured as the lead track for the 2015 Swedish short film Kung Fury. That's actually a really good flick, by the way. The song was composed by Mitch Murder, recorded... Wow, that's an interesting name, because he played Mitch, the lifeguard in Baywatch. Recorded in Sweden, the song and video is designed as an ostentatious, over-the-top 1980s homage parody, with the video featuring dinosaurs, kung fu, Adolf Hitler, skateboarding, Norse gods, and time traveling. Hasselhoff claimed that he received the offer to record the song and video by a request from Sweden Universal to sing a tribute to the 80s. Hasselhoff performed a live version of the song during the 2016 Guldbagge Awards. True Survivor debuted and peaked at number 94 on the Canadian Hot 100, becoming his first chart entry in Canada. That's another curious question. Why isn't the Hoff more popular in Canada?
I don't know.
In 2017, a retro music video called Guardians Inferno was released as a bonus to the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 home release, where Hasselhoff does the singing. In September 2019, Hasselhoff released his 14th studio album, Open Your Eyes. The album consists of covers of popular songs such as Sweet Caroline and Lips Like Sugar, with all but one song featuring collaborations from other artists, including Todd Rundgren and Steve Stevens. The album charted in Austria, Germany, and Switzerland, with the former reaching the top 30 there. A promotional music video for the title track was released on YouTube on September 9th, followed by the album's release on CD, vinyl, digital download, and streaming services on September 27th, 2019. Do you get all your Hoff albums in vinyl?
I don't have any Hoff.
That is shocking. That is downright shocking, Jared. To promote the album as well as celebrating the 30th anniversary of the album Looking for Freedom and the song of the same name, Hasselhoff toured across Austria, Germany, and Switzerland on the Freedom the Journey Continues tour, which took place October 2019. So this guy's still touring in his 60s, in his mid to late 60s. Isn't that impressive?
Yeah, that's impressive.
All right, so here's the...
He really doesn't actually have to do anything. All right, so like we've had like 3 synopsises, Bruce. Like
No, hold on. There's one more sentence. 2020s, on December 10th, 2020, Hasselhoff released his first heavy metal song titled Through the Night. This song was recorded alongside Q-Stack, an Austrian duo who also enlisted the help of Beartooth frontman Caleb Shomo to produce a retro synthwave remix of the song. So now in 2020, the Hoff has entered the heavy metal arena of music. Is there anything this man cannot do?
I don't know, especially at his age. That's kind of surprising, you know.
In his late 60s.
That's normally something one does like early in their life.
Yeah, in his late 60s, making his heavy metal debut. I mean, how impressive is that?
It's pretty impressive.
All right, so he actually doesn't have that many awards. There's only 4 awards listed here. 83, Favorite Male Performer in a New TV Program, People's Choice Awards. 2005, so he won no official honors and awards from awards companies, so to speak. In 2005, he had the International Star of the Year Award for Outstanding Contribution to Global Entertainment by the Bollywood Awards. Then VH1 Big in 06 Awards, 2006 Comeback Star of the Year, and then 2010 was the Comedy Central Roast. So he has a bunch of world records in terms of being the most watched man on TV and all the ratings. But as far as awards being given out, apparently he does not have a Grammy or an Oscar. Is that shocking, Jared?
Well, he doesn't have an Emmy either, it doesn't sound like.
It's kind of shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it is.
Is he the most talented man to never win these awards? But then again, he's only 69, so we'll see what happens. But any final thoughts on the storied career of David Hasselhoff?
His life in and of itself is a soap. I'm surprised he hasn't done a memoir.
Hold on, let me check if he
Oh,
has.
for Christ's sake, no, don't look it up, Bruce.
No, I have to look it up.
It's gonna be like this multi-part trilogy.
Okay, here we go. Don't Hassle the Hoff, an autobiography.
Here we go.
So this was released May 15th, 2007. The LA Times called him a counterculture icon. TV Guide dubbed him one of TV's 10 most powerful stars, but true aficionados simply call him the Hoff. As this fascinating memoir reveals, there's more to this handsome superstar than the great hair and legs that look good while running down the beach. The Hoff is also a smart, caring man with a huge heart. This book is my opportunity to print something from my heart to tell the truth about what happened to me on the long and winding road from Baltimore to Baywatch to Broadway and beyond, and the truth is not to be found in tabloid stories but in my actions. I am a good father and tried to be a good husband.
Well, we know how that ended.
I love people and the emotional roller coaster that goes with human relationships. I love all the bewildering, crazy, and wonderful things that life has to offer. This book is about my successes and my failures, my strengths and my weaknesses, and above all, it is about the hope contained in the Knight Rider slogan, "One man can make a difference." So you spoke too soon, JR. He does indeed have a memoir. But there's also one more thing I wanted to address. Let me just go through his credits real quick. And there's going to be some surprises here. So he was actually a guard on the Dean Martin show in '73. There was a TV series, not to be confused with a Jackie Chan film in the '80s, Police Story. He was a parking attendant. And then he was Boner in Revenge of the Cheerleaders. He was Prince Simon in Star Crash. He was Scott in the TV movie Pleasure Cove in 1979. In the TV series Semi Tough, David Hasselhoff played Shake Tiller. He was also on The Love Boat. He played Brian Kelly and also played a different character, Tom Bell, 1980, 1981. He was also in The Cartier Affair, a TV movie. And then he was in a movie, Terror at London Bridge, 1985. And this movie, for those that don't know, this is quite a doozy. So apparently this is a time traveling movie about Jack the Ripper, starring David Hasselhoff. Terror on London Bridge. Everybody should definitely check out that film. He was also in a short, Stop the Madness, and then of course Knight Rider, 82 to 86. He was in a video short, David Hasselhoff Stay, 87. Strong Times, 88. He was in the Perry Mason TV movie, The Case of the Lady in the Lake, in 1988. Lovable Zanies 2, 1988. Witchery, a horror movie from 1988. Fire and Rain TV movie. Bunch of music videos. The Final Alliance, 1990. A drifter and his pet puma stand up against a motorcycle gang in a small American town. Starring David Hasselhoff, Bo Hopkins, and John Saxon, 1990. That sounds like a pretty good movie. Knight Rider 2000, the TV movie from 1991. The Ring of the Musketeers, where he plays John Smith D'Artagnan. The Balkan Trail, where he plays Michael Balkan. You have a good point. He plays a lot of characters where he uses his middle name. The 1994 TV movie Avalanche. Have you seen that one?
No.
The Muppets video, She Drives Me Crazy. 1994. Did you know he was in a Muppets video?
No, I didn't know.
The TV movie Gridlock, 96. Baywatch Nights, of course, we mentioned that before, 95 to 97. He was also in Nightman, TV series, TV movie. Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Legacy, Welcome to Hollywood, the TV series Action, 1999 as himself. The Big Tease as himself. Third Rock from the Sun. The West Wing, 2000. One True Love, a TV movie where he plays Mike Grant. Layover, where he plays Dan Morrison. Shaka Zulu, The Citadel. He plays Mungu Prentice. Did you ever think that David Hasselhoff would be in a Shaka Zulu movie?
I don't even know what that is.
You don't know who Shaka Zulu is? Like the great African hero?
Oh, yeah, him. Yeah.
The Hoff was also on Just Shoot Me and Still Standing. And then, of course, Dodgeball, SpongeBob SquarePants, Fugitives Run, Click, Kicking It Old School, Anaconda 3, The Offspring. We forgot to mention that. He was also in the video game Command & Conquer Red Alert 3 as the vice president. He was in a short film, To Live and Dine in L.A. as the Hoff. Then, of course, The Young and the Restless. He was also in Dancing Ninja, where he played Ansel LaDouche, and he also played Ansel's mother. So I'm guessing like he was in drag for that role.
He might have been.
And that was Dancing Ninja 2010. That doesn't get talked about a lot. Here's the tagline: An orphaned boy who dreams of becoming a ninja arrives in Hollywood to try and find his birth parents, where he gets mixed up in a crime. And then of course Hop, and he was also in Sons of Anarchy. He was also in Piranha 3DD. I forgot about that. Have you seen Piranha 3DD?
No, I can't say that I have.
It's actually a pretty decent horror movie. He was in Keith Lemon, the film, as the Hoff, Robot Chicken, The Christmas Consultant, Newsreaders, Kung Fury, Sharknado 3, oh hell no, Jones and Van Giel TV series, Hoff, The Record is TV series, Last Night a DJ Saved My Life TV movie, Trip Tank. He was also in Sharknado 4. He was also in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare as DJ of the Zombies in Spaceland. He was the voice. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, It's No Game. And then, of course, his cameo in the Baywatch 2017 movie. He was also in the video Logan Paul and Adeline Mock featuring Designer, the Song of the Summer 2017. Wow, so he's affiliated with Logan Paul as well. Are you surprised at that?
No, not at this point.
He was also in the TV series Nightcap. He was also in Killing Hasselhoff. We didn't talk about that. In Killing Hasselhoff, a struggling nightclub owner resorts to desperate measures in order to pay off a loan shark. He was also in the TV series Close Enough. Cuse, bunch of videos. Okay, Young Sheldon, the TV series. The Halgelson Show. He was a KGB agent, and he did the Passenger video short. He's also set, apparently, Kung Fury 2. He plays Hoff 9000. So this man has quite a prolific career. He's basically done it all, as you've stated. And we can't figure out where he has the time, especially during the heyday. I still haven't received an explanation on how he could be filming like 20 plus episodes for Baywatch, 20 plus episodes for Baywatch Nights, while recording studio albums while traveling on tour. I haven't had that explained. Like during the 90s heyday, like how did he get all that done? Like, can you figure that out?
No, I can't.
I mean, there's not enough hours in the day.
I don't even want to try at this point.
There's not enough hours in the day. And if he was blackout drunk most of the time, like, how did he get it done?
I'm telling you, Bruce, there's only one explanation. Body doubles. Or he's a clone, one or the other.
Yeah, if he has clones, that would explain it. So, yeah, so all the Hoff fans and non-fans out there, if you have an explanation, if you can decipher how he was able to work on this schedule, feel free to chime in the comment section and
if
give
you
us
have anything that he did that was famous that you'd like to chime in with, like, him secretly being part of some sort of society or something, because after all, we just briefly read his list.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing he's got left really is maybe to become president, and we'll see if that happens. I mean, would you be surprised if 2024, like, Hasselhoff's bidding for president?
I wouldn't be surprised, like, at all.
The Hoff versus the Donald. Who do you got?
I would actually vote for the Huff. Just because he's got so much experience, so many areas.
He does.
He's so qualified.
He does indeed. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed another edition of the MindShock podcast. This was possibly one of the most mind-shocking episodes we ever did. Feel free to support the podcast. You can donate to our PayPal. Check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell for notifications. You can also like and share this podcast. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. Patrons do get priority for case topic, logical analysis requests, co-podcasters. You can also be a guest on the podcast, depending on your tier. This is Bruce McGuire signing off.
And Jared having it.
Catch you guys next time.